let them put that behind themselves. They've still got a best of 3 to play, so they can come back into this against Trifecta, and if they secure these buffs a little bit easier, might be a different tale. Picks and bans for game 2 this time round. eUnited could end up going 0-3 at the start of the league. That's pretty crazy.
I do understand, though, eUnited's kind of mindset there, because they are a team that functions best whenever they're working as a unit. And when you see your boys starting to go down, you try to peel for them. That's just, I think their reflexive reaction every single time is going to be to look for peeling their gods or their friends away. But more importantly, same sort of direction. Almost looks like a rerun from game 1.
But no reason to change anything, I guess, from United's point of view, because if you think about what they did in that game, they did control it very well for the most part, apart from those objectives. Trifecta salt Cerberus this time, so the Cerberus coming up a little bit earlier in terms of the picks this time round. But once again, they give Benji this Chulainn, which, let's be honest, Benji's Chulainn is a thing to be feared. If you saw the World Championships, it's still just as good.
Benji looked awesome in the solo lane as well with this Chulainn. He seemed to have full lane pressure as well against Scary D. And granted, Scary D also probably acknowledging the fact that he wasn't going to be in a winning matchup with that Sobek, kind of just trying to hold his own to participate more so in the team fights.
Lot of focus from Trifecta in the Caliban phase towards PolarBearMike, making sure his options are limited. No Athena, no Ganesh available for him. Agni will be locked in for Trifecta, and in response, well, it's an easy one with the Geb pick up there for PolarBearMike, and finally Janus is locked in for eUnited. So a couple of changes for both sides.
I really like the Janus pickup, though, because it did feel at times that eUnited were kind of succumbing to Trifecta's chase down from their dive composition. I think that Janus is going to be a great god for just getting them out of the initial danger and giving them that hard reset that they were looking for.
I do really feel, though, Sacco, that Janus is going to be one that grows towards that permanently banned phase with how things are going with Janus just lately. Even though his win ratio wouldn't say otherwise, we could see something different here. They were locked in. Here's your money on.
I'd have to put it on eUnited this time.
You were wrong last time. I'm going to go, she's wrong again. Trifecta for the 2-0. Let's see what the casters have to say. We'll go to Finch and the guy who's got vomit on his chest.
No, hold on. No, let me accept this. No thank you, number 1. No thank you from me. Number 2, this tie says I'm fun, I'm having fun, and I'm happy to be here. Okay?
Yeah, if you have to explain what the tie says, it's saying it very clearly.
Thank you.
If anyone needs an interpreter, it's because the message is too clear, if anything.
I completely agree.
What's also clear is that we're in game 2 here with Trifecta going against eUnited. Thank you, Hindu and Taco, on the desk, of course. And after that game just now, I mean, that was a tough loss for eUnited. How are they going to be able to regroup and come back into this next game and keep going? We want to know what you all think. Can eUnited do it? Can they force the game 3, or does Trifecta have it here?
Well, I think they made the right adjustment. That Habwa on the mid lane, it was really good on paper, and it worked out at times. I mean, early on, it was pretty good in the mid lane, but the team fighting phase, it just fell a little flat. Plus, what was I talking about? That was very much a dive team fight composition where everyone wanted to come in and support Scream after the blink, support Benji as he's into the back line. Janus does that better than any other mid laner because he can be there, the whole team can be there, you can use those portals to get out. So I like this adjustment here from eUnited. I've got no problem. I thought we might get the full-on salty run back with the first 6 picks being the exact same. But those first 6 picks, I think, were very, very good for both sides. I've got no problem with eUnited going back to their first 3. I've got no problem with Trifecta doing the same.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's hard to blame the picks in that kind of match, doesn't it feel like? It feels like really they had the Fire Giant that was about to go their way, and then that poor play there in the jungle is sort of what ended up costing them as they kind of each went back in to save each other and maybe should have just left PandaCat to die.
There are a lot of mistakes there. Trifecta actually winning the poll results here in the chat, 53-47, so still pretty close. I really feel like people are starting to get amped up about this Trifecta roster, and how could you not after watching them play? They're fun to watch. They play different play styles. Everyone on that team has those really big wow individual moments, whether it's Met, having those insane ricochets on the Hu Yi mid. Scary's been playing really, really well so far in this short season. Zapman finding some solo kills as well. I mean, this is a Trifecta roster that I think really has some legs.
Yeah, and I think we're going to get a chance to see that here in this exact game. Agni was the pickup for Trifecta there, and that means we're going to get to see Metyankey pilot this one in the mid laner. Such a strong character right now here is that Agni.
I love it. I really feel like Agni's one of the best mids in the game right now. I mean, sure, picking him behind Sol or Janus or Habla, maybe not, but I get it. There are definitely different situations, but Agni, you could kind of throw it anywhere in there. You could throw it in any sort of team composition and really have it be successful. So I've got no problem with them slotting the Sol into the duo lane for whatever reason Zapman didn't want to run that Hachiman back, and then you give that to Zapman, give the Agni to Metyankey, and it's going to go just fine.
Yeah, it's so much range control that he's going to be able to provide. So much, like you said, so much damage too. I mean, really a strong god for them. So we'll see if they can run this one back and see if maybe, you know, they can defend their fire giants a little bit better, not let those get snuck away at the very last moment, or, you know, not lose that last fight at the very end. But they're very close.
I mean, the fire giant just kind of be quarantined.
Wait, hold up. Wait, 50%? Only 50% of chat like your tie.
Like my tie. Only 50% of you like this? It says I'm fun. I'm happy to be here. It's going to be a great day. That's
What's wrong with the rest of you?
That's what this tie says.
It's a great tie.
Thank you, Finch. We're actually on the same page here for once. Come on.
You just got to say nice stuff to Agri if you want to win.
I'm going to be honest. This tie is very weird. I get that. And I look at it almost every day in my closet, and I'm like, I can't wear this with anything. So then I'm like, what if I just go gray, white, big burst of color with the tie? And I'm throwing, you know what? I don't hate it. Get used to it, chat. It's coming back.
I don't think you should wear any other ties.
Okay,
this is your tie now.
Too far.
That's your tie now.
That's too far.
It's not too far.
I'm going to wear other ties.
There
There are definitely other ties.
I don't think that's too far.
It's definitely too far. Or what? You want a poll to see if that's too far for me to wear this?
If
this
I was
tie
the one running the
every
polls, that's. I mean, I'm just saying.
The one time that you were running the polls and I called for one, it took you 15 minutes to do it.
I did not. I did it immediately.
Yeah.
What was the condition? I didn't even hear what was the condition for the poll? I didn't even hear it. I put up the poll when chat started complaining.
Sounds about right. I don't even remember either, to be honest with you. It was a while ago. I remember just being very angry with you.
I remember it. I remember because I was there. I heard it. Scary D, though. Let's talk a little bit about this solo lane idea. A lot of the times we see these solo laners go like a bajillion and a half potions, something like that, along with the Oracle, along with the Health Chalice, and then the Warrior's Blessing. Instead, going though with that tier 1. That breastplate, going to give him a little bit extra physical protections going up against the Chulainn. I like this.
Yeah, it's especially when you're going to be rushing Breastplate of Valor, which Hercules really wants to most of the time anyways, because that CDR is so valuable and the additional mana that it gives you. Hercules' mana pool not super big and really consumes a lot of mana by spamming his abilities, so you going for Breastplate early really makes sense on him. And I love what Mask just did there. We kind of caught it out of the corner of the top of the screen, but he actually blinked across the lane to make sure that it was hard enough for Venenu to spot him. So now eUnited has less information as to where Mask is. Ven going to try and steal away that red buff, but won't be able to do so. Did cost the sprint there from NeiruMah to try and confirm it, though.
I know you said steal away that red buff, but I mean, that's his own. He's just trying to defend. And now 3 members rotating into eUnited's duo lane. Actually ends up taking way more poke than I think he meant to. Is Zapman. NeiruMah's low as well. PandaCat finding the autos, but it's just not enough. They don't have any more abilities left. NeiruMah's low and instead choosing to split path off onto the jungle, being immediately followed by the level 2 duo lane of eUnited. PandaCat finds the last in hand, sends NeiruMah back to base.
I love that play there from eUnited. PolarBearMike pops the sprint before he even sees where the duo lane is, because he kind of deduces what's about to happen. Okay, Mask is in lane, and he's running at us. Their duo lane was on our side of the jungle. We should probably bounce. So he pops the sprint, starts to back it up. But then as soon as NeiruMah comes into lane, and PandaCat's accurate with the skills, they're able to poke him down pretty heavily. They immediately turn. A very fluid play there from eUnited's duo lane, working together as a unit. And that's what I think that a lot of the United fans have been missing from this squad, is that overall team cohesion, working together, moving as one. That was very, very, in synchrony there for that left-hand side. Well played.
Able to respond then to that pressure. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. I mean, they lost a lot of their jungle off that start from Trifecta. Talk to me a little about how it all is going to end up balancing out, because Trifecta do come down, take the red buff. I think they took, or no, PolarBearMike was at least able to get his own purple, but then they do end up giving up that kill in addition to getting their own buffs.
Yeah, it's basically even. Like we said in the last game, I mean, early buffs like this, 1, even 2, not that big of a deal to give up at this stage in the game. Now, if it starts becoming a recurring thing where they're losing every purple buff on respawn or every red buff on respawn, that becomes very problematic very quickly. But that early start doesn't do a whole lot besides give that kill over to eUnited in the early stages. I would have liked to see Mask hold in the jungle, wait to come around, enter the lane at the same time as Neil and Zap, and then try and get the kill. I feel like that would have been a little bit more effective.
Scream's still lurking over here in this jungle, though, and this is a perfect bait from the dual lane of eUnited. Zapman is ready to move in aggressively onto this. Does find the burst damage right back, but the sprint comes out. They're all in on it, and they don't even know that the Camazotz is waiting in the back. Aegis to keep him alive, and Scream finds Zapman through space, and time comes through as well. Venenu trying to help get them yet another kill over here. Doesn't quite find it, but he does find the portal that he needs. There's the slow, unstable vortex hits as well. well. NeiruMah has nowhere to go, turns back around and puts some damage out, but Screammm finds the 3rd kill of the game for eUnited.
Again, it's just team play right there. eUnited pulls Trifecta deeper and deeper on that left-hand side. Zapman has to use the beads because of great accuracy from PandaCat. I love PandaCat jumping away because in that situation, you're standing in axe stance, you're kind of waiting to brawl it out. If you just kind of stand there and wait to axe, the alarms start going off in Trifecta's head that something's wrong. But PandaCat jumping away, then turning around and using the fact that he hit the axe as the, oh, I feel like I can go aggressive now, that's believable. You know, you're bluffing basically at that point that I'm just an idiot, come and fight me, and Trifecta gobble it up, hook, line, and sinker.
And that ends up getting the 3rd kill of the game over to eUnited. More importantly, those couldn't have gone on to better targets for them. Screammm 2-0-0, and now PandaCat 1-0-1 on the Ullr over here up against Zapman. So that's where you want that early farm going, that Hunter and that jungle.
Now keep in mind, we said the exact same thing last game when Screammm got off to a really good start, but Mask was actually able to pull ahead in farm by a pretty significant margin in the mid game. He was up at least a level and a half over Screammm despite fairly similar score lines. So keep an eye on Mask's farm in comparison to that of Screammm because these two junglers really, really central to their team's identity. I mean, look, every jungler is. It's a jungler-run league, but these two in particular really feel that way.
This could be trouble for Metyankey. They don't have any more control for him, so instead they're going to be relying on damage. They don't even need it, though. They got the Aegis off Metyankey as well as good damage. Benji, though, gets caught out by the rotation from Mask over to the solo lane. They'll get their first kill, will Trifecta.
Brutal timing for Benji as well. He had just backed and used the teleport to get back to lane, so now he's going to have to walk all the way there, and that's a pretty long walk now in Season 5 with the lanes being farther away, the bigger map overall. That's why we've seen so many solo laners go back to the teleport. It's harder to get to where you want to be in Season 5, and when you take those kills, it's always kind of felt bad, but feels real bad now.
eUnited were at least able to turn their pressure in mid lane that they got onto Metyankey into a red buff invade. Venenu gets his ultimate forced out by mass pressure in mid. Comes back in on a Screammm. Didn't quite have enough damage to finish that one off since Metyankey couldn't stick around, but at least forced them both back and forced that ultimate out.
And that's just all because Met hit that double stun in the mid lane with the bomb. Probably expecting, Screammm to use the jump to get out of range of that, or, Venenu to be able to outrange it with his additional speed from a threshold or something like that. But neither player for United dodged the double bomb stun, so immediately Mask says, okay, we can go in. By the way, NeiruMah was once a god in that left-hand side, is now just a mere memory.
I mean, that wasn't even a normal aggro spiel. That was only a few seconds,
I know.
Really, and NeiruMah was deleted.
I was still in my opening paragraph.
Really? That was your thesis.
Of my speech that I usually like to go on to, and then NeiruMah so rudely interrupted me.
Yeah, NeiruMah now 0-3-0 on this Cerberus pick, and don't forget, Cerberus was kind of the hero for him last game, getting that Fire Giant stripped away. I mean, that one play solely didn't win them the game, but the impact of NeiruMah on this Cerberus can't be understated, so it hurts that he's already so far behind. Look at the dual lane relegated to hanging out underneath their Tier 1 tower. They can't afford to step out to the PandaCat PolarBearMike duo.
But this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying that PandaCat's going to be just fine with a slower start. I feel like there's almost no player with as much confidence as PandaCat has in his own play. Like we said, he's off to a slow start, hasn't played particularly well, makes a big mistake that is the start of the end for the United in the last game. What does he do? Give me the exact same pick and let me go 2-0-1 and have a level and a half lead on Trifecta in the first 7 minutes. You guys cool with that? PandaCat could go 0-20, 20 games in a row, and still say to your face, I'm going to destroy you in the next game. And really believe it, too.
Yeah, and he probably would be right. In this game, though, we're seeing that confidence come out well for him. Venenu using the portal to get away. Bomb from Metyankey comes over the top. PolarBearMike gets cleaned up by Zapman. Re-engaging with the portal where Venenu, as well as Screammm. Screammm goes in and gets controlled immediately by the Stygian Torment up into the bat of hell. He's forced to go to get away from the rest of the damage from Trifecta. PandaCat and Screammm can't keep going, but Mask can. Blinks back in, try and strip away the purple buff and find any more damage that he can. And forces Screammm to go on the retreat. Screammm doesn't want to leave. He wants to keep getting farm, and Mask is going to keep chasing.
Well, Mask knows that Screammm doesn't have ult. Screammm knows that Mask doesn't have ult. So no one's really afraid of dying in that situation. Scream gets the 2 minis off the back harpies. Mask gets the big one. Everyone goes home happy, except for PolarBearMike, who got caught out a little bit there, and the big damage out of Metyankey. And Metyanky's really been the one to start it off a lot of these times for Trifecta. The mid lane engagement where he got the double bomb. There on the left-hand side, he's able to catch PolarBearMike, who was stepping up to try and save Venenu, who got rooted out by Mask. Just this Agni working out so far for Trifecta.
Yeah, Metyankey. Oh, that's what makes Agni so strong. Metyankey's playing it very well, but you're right. He can start team fights off with that Agni, with the bomb into the stun, and lock down a couple members. You saw it happen there in mid lane. We got a 2-man stun, and that set up a further initiation for the rest of his team. So Metyankey using it correctly. I do have my eye here, though, Aggro, on this next red buff when it comes up for Trifecta. eUnited have been there now twice in a row for the spawn of that buff, so that's another area where they might try and keep that pressure on and try and limit Metyankey a bit and start another fight.
Well, look at where Mask is heading. He's got that XP Harpy up on the right-hand side, but still going to make the rotation in. Met takes a good amount of poke right off the bat, but he's going to return a little bit, and enough presence there from Trifecta to force eUnited off of that red buff. So good rotation in from Mask, good recognition, exactly as you had. That's where eUnited had been consistently, and a good damage check for Scream to know that next time he's backing and finishes off his Crusher, that's probably going to be a dead Metyankey on the next rotation of skills. However, Met still has the Aegis up now, and he's still working on that Warlock staff. Nice reset there by Benji. Make sure that ult from Scary didn't steal away the buff.
He's got Scream lying in wait as well, but level 9 right now up against Scary D on this Hercules, who I don't think cares very much about who's around him right now, trying to continue to strip away this buff. And he does have Mask finally here in tow with him, putting the hurt onto Scream, but Venenu's in the back on that Janus. He's got the Unstable Vortex ready, not too much more mana, but doesn't quite hit it. Mask also does not seem to be too worried.
No, that's the Ravana for you. He's got his ultimate available. He's A-okay, even without the Aegis that Scream has gone for yet again. Ven in trouble in the mid lane, though. Mask went for it with the Mystic Rush and couldn't quite find it. Scream makes him pay. That's one of those situations where you just go, I think we've got enough damage. And it turns out you didn't have enough damage. Ideally, Metyankey steps in a tower there to tank it because he's healthier than Mask was in that situation. But I'm not sure that he could have gotten there, even if he would have needed to dash in order to get underneath the tower. And if Metyankey dashes under tower, he's dead to rights anyways. That's just a risk by Mask and Metyankey to try and trade out 1-for-1. They get punished for it.
I think they have enough damage for anyone who's not Janus in that situation, but it is a Janus that they're trying to kill, so they got to make sure they take that hit.
I'm not standing for this Janus hate here, Finch. Scream gets out of there with Camazotz ult, doesn't he?
He's not a mage.
Who cares? You said they would have had enough damage for anyone. I didn't know that mages were the
other. If they were jumping in any other mid lane, that would have worked. But Janus can walk through the wall.
Raijin could have lived.
Maybe.
Scylla probably dies.
Yeah.
Scylla dies.
Scylla dies. I think Raijin probably dies there too. Once again here for the red buff though is eUnited. NeiruMah's here this time as well to try and defend it. Mask is very low. Agni Bomb coming out as well. Doesn't quite find Scream though. So instead, eUnited will be able to disengage, but they have not given up on trying to strip this farm away yet from Trifecta. Metyankey going to meet Scream here in the jungle. Does find the first bomb, force a dash away from the Unstable Vortex. It actually gets the bat out of hell out of Scream too in response. Root comes out of Venenu. Mask does bait out through space and time as well. Dodges that, but not the Unstable Vortex. 2 ultimates down now for eUnited.
I like the plays there by both sides. Just playing aggressive in the mid lane and in the jungle is actually all Trifecta that I like the play of because it's Scream and Venenu who are sitting without ultimates now. Now, Venenu really playing loose with that ultimate, and I love that call because he's already got 30% CDR. You add in the passive from the Chronos Pendant, it's basically full CDR, so he's willing and able to fire that off whenever because it's not going to take too long before it becomes up and available yet again. But the adjustment I want to see Trifecta, specifically Metyankey, make is now is when the mind games start to come in when you're playing against a character like Camazotz. Now Met is going to start throwing bombs, and I'd like to see him hold the Noxious Fumes because that is a longer cooldown to detonate that off the stun. So it's going to take a little bit. If he wastes that, it's a pretty big team fight turner potentially. So Scream is going to expect the Noxious Fumes to come and try and jump out of it. I'd like to see him throw the bomb, let it go, then wherever Scream lands, then you stun on that second bomb or off the flame wave or whatever. And that's where the adjustment starts happening. Maybe Scream will stop jumping away from the first bomb, and now you got to readjust. But that's kind of the mind games that you start to see these pro level players play.
We're a little over 13 minutes in here. eUnited does have 5-2, the lead in kills at least, and a little bit of a gold lead to themselves. Nothing too substantial, though. It looks to be about 1,000, 1,200 or so gold lead that they've got going to their name right now. The experience lead, though, is about all but even. Really, that's not too tremendously in either one's favor. About 800, 1,000 or so to Trifecta's favor. So they're keeping it very, very close, are these two teams, just like we saw in Game 1, except this time it's eUnited who are being a little more aggressive in finding these picks. Through space and time, finding Metyankey in the back, and then he puts himself in place to cast the bombs. PandaCat finds him, he falls almost immediately. Scream continue to go in, avoids the Stygian Torment coming out from NeiruMah. He even gives him a little bit of a laugh as he walks away, but gets caught by Scary D.
Uh-oh, Scream in trouble. Doesn't take the portal to get out of danger. Nice unstable vortex through the wall, but Venenu all out of mana. Doesn't matter because Benji's going to be able to do it by himself. He finds NeiruMah, able to go underneath the tower and take an extra shot because he's a big old Chulainn who doesn't really mind about that. 2 for 0 in the mid lane, and I love that play from Venenu.
Yeah.
You force Metyankey's dash. Not really force, but Metyankey decides to dash on you. Cool. I go through the wall. Now you're standing there thinking that you're safe. Let me bring my team to you with the through space and time. I'll come through it as well. Clap you with some extra damage. I love that play. That's one of those feelings as a Janus where you get to really abuse the map, abuse your abilities, and it feels really, really difficult to play against because, frankly, it is. And that's where he becomes very, very strong is in situations like that.
And Metyankey, I like what he did. It's what you were always saying, where he tries to get all his damage off since he feels if he's going to die either way. But it makes it even easier, really, for him to become a target. When you're casting those bombs, you are standing in place. PandaCat comes in and finds that damage on him. So, yes, he gets the damage off, but it almost guarantees his death in that particular instance. NeiruMah, his death's not guaranteed. He's able to jump away from PolarBearMike and PandaCat without too much trouble.
It's really, really hard to deal with that as an Agni player because at a competitive level, you know, rooting yourself for that little bit of time to cast the bomb guarantees axe stun, guarantees, you know, vampiric bats from Scream, and if you get hit by either one of those, you're dead at that health level, or even, you know, 3/4 health, you're probably dead if you get hit by either one of those abilities. One of Agni's really big weaknesses is once you get on top of him and you can stick with him after the jump, he has a really, really hard time peeling for himself. In those situations, it's usually best to save your noxious fumes for your flame wave. That's your quickest activation. It doesn't force you to lock yourself in place. You're able to move around as you do it. It's usually a little bit safer that way.
Now eUnited are pulling the Gold Fury. Mask is here, and he's going on to Scream in the bat. They also have NeiruMah and Zapman, so they've got plenty of damage to try and contest this one. And we've seen these objectives be a little bit up in the air as far as Secure is concerned. Trifecta, for a moment, we're looking to keep pulling it. This time, though, Benji's here in tow. We saw what Benji's impact could be when he rotates into team fights in that last fight.
PandaCat trying to be sneaky, but he's on a ward, and I love that Trifecta isn't showing that they know he's on a ward. Now Zapman will do that. Scary blinks in, but counter-blinked by Scream. Everyone shuts their eyes for a moment, and it's all back to normal.
Yeah, nothing. No, I mean, I didn't see it happen, so you know, neither did you. It feels like a little bit of the call. Scary D is here now, though, and that's enough for them to force them off the Gold Fury. This sort of branched off. Mask and Metyankey dueling it out there in mid lane while Scary D continues to chase PandaCat underneath the Tier 1 tower. Can't find the pull, though.
Now, honestly, I mean, it's blink for blink. It doesn't seem like a big deal, and truthfully, it isn't the biggest deal in the world, but honestly, that's a win for Trifecta. Scary D's blink is just there for the try and catch a sleeping, cheeky little play, didn't work out, fine. You know, or healing, trying to get away, blink away, cool. Scream's blink is a really big initiating factor. Honestly, eUnited's been using Scream's blink as the initiating factor so far in this set. So that's really, really critical that is down. That's a big reason why I feel like eUnited's playing so passive right now. Now Metyankey can kind of take a breath, you know, breathe a little bit. He'll at least be able to see Scream coming at him before he chases him down and is unpeelable and does a lot of damage to him.
I feel like that was probably a good point, but I'm distracted by your ridiculous tie.
The viewers at home aren't. You don't have to make them distracted, Finch. Don't be so selfish.
They're all
next time.
thinking about it, I promise.
They're thinking about me? I mean, who could blame them?
They're thinking about the tie, for sure.
Whose tie?
Whether or not it's on you. They're thinking
about the tie.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see about that.
Trifecta are back around this Gold Fury pit, just fighting over vision, it looks like here this time. Scream coming in trying to contest. Mask goes into
Nice
PandaCat,
axe.
does force him to jump away, uses the Mystic Rush to chase him down. Beads now coming out from PandaCat. Hail of arrows in the turnaround for the Hunter for eUnited. Scream's going to keep going on a Mask with the Bat out of Hell, trying to put some damage in instead, using that last one to get away. Stygian Torment again doesn't quite make it from NeiruMah. Scream's able to make it outside of that range. A lot more used there to try and get PandaCat, but they couldn't find him.
Benji stunned out, kind of left alone, but PBM and
Rage.
Venenu on the way in. PBM going to sprint, doesn't have the blink to try and close the gap. Zapman pushing forward to try and keep this team fight going in their favor. Now might be able to escape into the Disapparate, but through space and time is going to clip Mask. Venenu finds number 8 for eUnited, and it gives out a root for Scream as Venenu finds the double kill on the top side.
That's a double kill for him. Now they're going to push in for a little bit more. Benji wants Metyankey. Benji finds Metyankey and gets a double kill for himself onto NeiruMah. Team fight going heavily in eUnited's favor. 4 members drop. Tier 1 towers in their sights, and they're going to take it out. Only Scary D is still around. That's a pretty big target, but he's not going to be able to slow down this many members. Now getting looped around on, knocked up as well. eUnited have a good chance to try and take him down. It actually pushes them back into the Tier 1 tower. It goes on to Benji, who's happy to take up a couple of shots, and they'll back up and turn their attention away from this Tier 2.
I think I'd like to see Scary actually hold on to that ultimate, because that's a huge deterring factor for a potential Gold Fury pull. But with how low everyone from eUnited is, they decided to go for the Tier 1 tower and left instead, and the respawn timers coming through for Trifecta mean that eUnited probably didn't want to go for that Gold Fury anyways, and the boulder just solidifies that basically from Scary. Nice play by him to push those 2 frontliners underneath the tower, but what a team fight there from eUnited, because PolarBearMike coming to support Benji, and just Trifecta just looks a little bit discombobulated there. Again, NeiruMah wastes the ultimate. It's so appetizing to try and ult the Camazotz, who just uses ult and doesn't have purification beads, but man, that Devourer is just so good at getting him out of danger. It's tough to make that call.
Mask is actually able to keep them zoned away here for the bombs that come down for Trifecta. They were able to get this Gold Fury in response. Through space and time for Venenu is just a little bit too late. So yes, Trifecta do lose that team fight over in the dual lane, but they recognize eUnited had to back up, and they pull the Gold Fury for themselves.
Yeah, PBM's got to do a little bit of a better job, I think, in that situation of letting Venenu know just how low that Gold Fury is getting. Ven had the ultimate, could have fired it off, but just wasn't able to see the health bar, and a lot of that goes to Trifecta to throwing a bunch of stuff at him, making sure it's hard for him to see that, whether that's PBM not communicating just how low that was to give Venenu that steal opportunity, or Venenu not taking that information and using it at the right time. Either way, there was some sort of breakdown there. I feel like eUnited could have had a much better chance of stealing away that objective. I mean, through space and time is as good of a secure as either team has.
Now United going for the Pyromancer. I like this. Going to try and force Trifecta over, and if they cannot respond, which looks like they can't, then they'll get this for free and try and eliminate some of that gold gained just now by that Gold Fury and add it to their own name. Now with everyone over here, they're going to push this Tier 1 tower in Soul Lane as well. Security not going to be able to get over here in time to keep this structure standing as Benji continues to duke it out in mid.
I wonder if this is game 1 and eUnited hadn't lost a Fire Giant in this set already. Do they go for FG there? I mean, you see Zapman on the left side, Benji zoning out too. That could have been a potential pull, but either way, United seem happy enough with the Pyromancer. I'm sure Trifecta's happy enough with it as well, because Pyro for Tier 1 tower on the left-hand side is pretty much an even trade, but the towers going down opens the door for a quicker end, whereas Pyromancer just gives you that little bit of golden experience, and of course the speed boost coming out of base.
They do enjoy getting that extra buff now, does eUnited, and even things back up a little bit more. Not quite even, though. Actually, things are a little bit in favor of eUnited. They've got about a 3,000 gold lead to their name. That experience lead, though, is a lot larger. 6,000 experience going the way of eUnited. As we start to approach those level 20s, that experience won't matter as much, but we're going to be 22 minutes here into the game, so that lead is all still pretty relevant. Only really the Soul Laner's level 20 right now.
But only a level now for PandaCat. That was bigger in the duo lane beforehand. Ven's got a level in the mid lane, and so does Scream and PolarBearMike. 6,000 XP is a big number, and it's certainly very relevant, but it's really much more relevant when one member of your team is up 2.5, 3 levels over their opposition. Having multiple members be 1 level up, not a huge deal, but it's going to be a big deal whenever Trifecta gets rotated on like this. Scream blinks in alongside PolarBearMike. Zapman has to use the purification beads, and he's still absolutely toast here. Scream gets the last hit, but it was a full team effort, started off by Venenu's through space and time.
Yeah, everybody came on over there and caught the dual lane of Trifecta out, or at least Zapman. Not really much he could do. Not even pushed up particularly far forward. It's just the state of the game that has him in a spot where you can get rotated on that hard. Now Tier 2 tower in duo and Tier 2 tower in mid are in the sights of eUnited. Based on PandaCat's positioning, though, it looks like they want this Tier 2 tower in left. Scary D's here. All of Trifecta that are still alive are here to try and make this defense. They want to fight on the Tier 2.
But look at all the ultimates down on the side of eUnited. Really, the important ones are Cataclysm and that through space and time. Benji around the back, gonna push in Metyankey. Gets a portal for Screammm, who's gonna go straight on a Met. Remember, he didn't have the blink, but that'll do. Screammm now up into the sky. Metyankey trying to stay alive. Will for the moment because Scary D has zoned out all the damage and found the kill on a PBM. eUnited get the Tier 2 tower. They lose a couple members for it, and it might keep going here, Finch.
Yeah, Mask is not willing to give up on this one. He gets a double kill by finding PandaCat. Portal going to get Benji out of there. Through space and time was available yet again to try and help his team on the retreat. But NeiruMah was a big part of what worked out well for them, too. Found the two-man Stygian Torment. First time I remember he didn't try and use that ultimate on Screammm, and hey, it worked out pretty well.
What do you know, Benji? I think he's actually able to steal that red buff away. Either way, Trifecta is not too worried about the buff because they want the big buff, Fire Giant. Pulled here by Zapman, at least about to be pulled by Zapman.
Oh, wow.
It's Scary just working on zoning away Benji. Now, Venenu not falling in that last engagement ends up being really, really critical. Doesn't have that through space and time, but Unstable Vortex has serious still ability, and Trifecta's had trouble securing these, Finch.
Yeah, we've seen these get stolen away, but not this time. Trifecta take the Fire Giant for themselves. So eUnited win a big fight over around that duo lane, but it's just not enough. Trifecta get a couple picks. Trifecta get the Fire Giant now, and they have a chance to get a little bit more gold added to their pockets with 3 Tier 2 towers still standing up for them to take.
And plenty of items to build as well. Only 4 or 5 items done for most of the members of Trifecta. So normally when Fire Giants are taken and you see lots of Tier 2 towers up, all right, we'll get a bunch of gold. You're already like 5.5 items deep, so you only needed 1 or 2 to finish off whatever you were working on. In this situation, that 4,500 gold is extremely relevant this time around for Trifecta. They're going to be able to go to farm, go to market, and be able to grab whatever they want to pick up to finish off these builds.
And they have that opportunity now to try and finish those off. Trifecta adding his gold 3 back over to their name, and eUnited don't really have a way to get back in and try and defend this one, but this just feels like the story of this set so far is how close that these teams are right now, Ryan. Now, my question to you is that eUnited coming down a little bit, or the rest of the competition in NA stepping up a little bit?
I think it's both. I think eUnited is underperforming. To be frank, they just haven't looked as well, as cohesive as they did towards the end of last year. Their individual performances haven't looked quite as spectacular, and I think that they're just not operating at 100% capacity right now. But at the same time, I don't think you can take any credit away from Trifecta. This is a really, really good team. I don't think you could take a lot of credit away from Luminosity, who played like a really, really good team in their set against eUnited. You can't take away anything from Space Station, who looked like a really, really good team.
Yeah.
Look, eUnited's had tough enough matchups, and the crazy thing is, like I said, when you look at the schedule, you'd think, okay, Trifecta and Luminosity, 2 of the easier matchups you're going to get throughout the year, and here we are saying those are tough matchups. Well, yeah, because all 6 teams are real damn good now.
Yeah, there's no easy matchups for sure out there right now. No one's sleeping. Everyone here is coming in tough. Trifecta looking to try and push down this Tier 2 tower here in the mid lane aggro. Everyone here from eUnited is here. These Tier 2 tower defenses have worked so far this game on both sides. Trifecta have to make sure they're doing this one very carefully.
I like this call. Like I said, Trifecta's not really that close to full build, so these Tier 2 towers are really relevant, and this game's pretty even. Mask gonna blink into PandaCat, finds his Aegis. Scary D around the back as well, but Screammm gonna go in on a Metyankey, and Zapman through space of time clips NeiruMah, but none of those priority targets as Trifecta now semi on the retreat, but NeiruMah still wants to keep on going because he found PolarBearMike with that Stygian Torment.
And does pull him back into the rest of the team. Benji is the one in the back between 4 members, giving that terror off on all 4 of them. Portal yet again, it's Scary D, but it's eUnited who are on the retreat, and not able to retreat as Benji as he gets pulled back into the team. Zapman is the one that finds that last hit and takes him down 5v4 as they move into the Tier 2 tower. eUnited tried to stand tall in the Tier 2, but couldn't quite do it.
Benji and Screammm just a little bit off sync there. Those 2 are in the back line at the exact same time. That might have got a little bit better. They were really close, but just couldn't quite find the kills together in that situation. PBM gonna blink forward, finds the 5-man knockup, but no Cataclysm for him. Scary D underneath the tower delivers PandaCat on a silver platter. Mask gets that kill. Screammm gonna fall to the bomb from Metyankey, And all of a sudden, 3 dead now for eUnited, but it's going to be tough to end here because of how many towers are up on the side lanes.
There's still 2 towers standing. No mid Phoenix is standing. Trifecta are going to go for this yet again. Trifecta pulled the Titan, and only Venenu and PolarBearMike are around to try and stop this one. It's actually half health is the Titan. Could this be it yet again where Trifecta make another push?
Wow.
They do. They 2-0 the world champs, and eUnited have yet to find a win.
They haven't found a single win. What is that, 3 2-0s now?
That's rough.
For them? I mean, it was Luminosity, then Space Station, and now Trifecta. Congratulations to Trifecta. They played really, really well. That game was a really good display of falling behind a little bit early and still having the wherewithal to fight back and start to take the team fights on it. Just slight miscalls in decision-making there. On the left-hand side is where eUnited ended up losing that game.
Yeah.
They're pushing that Tier 2 tower after investing a decent amount of resources into killing Zapman. It's a 5v4 underneath a Tier 2 tower, and Trifecta wins the team fight pretty much handily, hand over fist, and it allows eUnited to just fall back. Trifecta start to get map pressure. They get Fire Giant. Man, eUnited's got to go back to the drawing board. They've got to figure out what's going wrong and try and fix it.
Some work to do for the world champions, and a little bit of work for y'all to do there in chat, too. We want to know who's the MVP. We got that poll for you, so make sure you let us know. It's a little bit tough to make that call this time. Everybody on Trifecta looking real strong in these 2 sets, but me and Ryan, I think we can probably talk about that set for a little while longer, but let's get it back over to the desk. Let Hindu and Taco take care of it.
I tell you what, if you guys in chat do not vote for eUnited as MVP of that game, you are wrong. Charitable donation city for eUnited this week, giving away 2 games back to back.
It was all around just a really unfortunate performance out of eUnited. They knew what they were doing, and it seems like they have a firm grasp and understanding of the early game parts of the game. But as the match progresses and as sieging starts to get involved, objective control starts being a factor, they just struggle more and more, whether it's overstaying or overextending. I think particularly Aggro and Fitch were just talking about it, that T2 tower siege,
on the left-hand side,
and then Screammmmm just goes a little bit too far. Benji starts to follow up, and it's kind of just a one-by-one effect where as soon as one member gets picked from eUnited, they all suddenly try to turn and peel for their teammate that's automatically going to die, and it just never really works out for them. They seem to be struggling with transitioning their early game leads over into the mid-late game portions.
Well, you couldn't have eUnited to vote for in the poll more than likely, but you did the second best thing and gave Scary D the MVP for that game. He received all the charitable donations in that game. Some fantastic Earthbreakers, though, Taco, that set up some of that situation. The dive on the Tier 2 on the left-hand side is where they messed up eUnited, and then defending the Tier 2 in mid lane is where it started to collapse, I guess. But early on, I mean, eUnited looks amazing. They looked just like they were last season.
This is one of those picks, though, that really got Scary D's name out there when he first made his debut into the SPL. He's always been known to have a pretty fantastic Hercules, and I think it was even more evident here today in this set. All those Earthbreakers that he kept connecting time and time again. Even towards the end there, we saw that last little Earthbreaker onto PandaCat that ultimately sets up Trifecta for being able to siege the Phoenix and then the game.
I can't believe now that we're in week 2 and after 3 sets of eUnited still haven't found a single win. It's pretty surprising, especially after being world champions. But things change in Season 5 and it's all mixed up again. I'm sure eUnited will bounce back at some point, but full congratulations to Trifecta, because there was some times in that where you're like, all right, F6.
Questionable moments, I would definitely say. I don't think it was the cleanest set win out of Trifecta by any means necessary, and I'm sure that team is also definitely looking towards aspects that they can improve on. But certainly for eUnited, they kind of just need to start from scratch, because what they've been doing so far just has not been working. And I think the main concern that I would have for them at this moment is a little bit of disjointed communications. It doesn't necessarily feel like everybody's on the same page. They all seem to have a general understanding of each other, but making it so that they can actually connect the dots and make their compositions actually work well together in the late game is probably the main issue that they seem to be encountering. And again, the objective control, it's not the first time that we've seen eUnited struggle in their set with objective control. I think it's actually one of their leading factors for losing a lot of these matches, because every single time that they look like they're going to have a promising game and they have a very promising start, it just falls short.
Well, with that, that concludes the first game for today. But eUnited, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. I'm sure they're tweeting out like they were disappointed in themselves with how they did today. I mean, the early mid-game looked fantastic from them. Just didn't hold on to that. Trifecta, though, showed that they can go up against, a tough opposition, be down quite considerably, and still have, I guess, the mental fortitude to stay playing and try and stay active in the game.
I think one of the best parts about Season 5 is that you're never really out of it.
Sure.
Especially at a competitive level of play, there's always opportunity for a comeback potential, and I think that's very evident in the sets that eUnited has been playing in particular, because most of these games should probably be wins for eUnited. They're just, again, struggling with that closeout factor. But Trifecta, I just love what they did when they recognized that there's a lot of pressure being established into the duo lane. Immediately, Mash just starts going ham on middle. Even when he went over aggressive into those dives, it was still at least diverting attention from the duo lane, kind of gave Neil some breathing room.
Well, that's it for set 1 here in the SPL. We've got one more set to come still. It's Space Station Gaming going up against Counter Logic Gaming, CLG. 2 big hitters so far. We'll see which one comes out on top after the break.
Yeah, you running off, my hands are tied. You coming back, my hands are tied now. We're making love, my hands are tied. I'm waiting on you, trying to play, but my hands are tied now. You running off. We can shine in a crowd, we never hesitate. Let us rise to the clouds. We got nothing to lose, I know the time is right. Let us light up the fuse. And I know, and I know, and I know, and I know we're perfect, you and I. And I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't giving up without a fight. What I feel, I know it's right. Let us detonate tonight. Let us detonate tonight. Let us detonate tonight. We can shine in a crowd, we never hesitate. Let us rise to the clouds. We got nothing to lose, I know the time is right. Let us light up the fuse. And I know, and I know, and I know, and I know we're perfect, you and I. And I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't giving up without a fight. What I feel, I know it's right. Let us detonate tonight. Let us detonate tonight. You better turn up. You better be there when I shake. Watch me rockin' if I can't stop. If I should fall, just go ahead.